And so as this marriage of yours is dissolving, is reaching the state that we've heard about already, and you're sharing your grievances with the family, you ultimately come out, really just run away from California, right?
Yes.
Now you ran away, at least you've told police and others that you ran away because of domestic abuse. Agreed?
Yes.
Domestic violence. Agreed?
You would have to define domestic violence.
We'll get to it, but if those were your words, what does that mean? When you're telling people you were a victim of domestic violence and had to flee, or what did you mean?
I never stated that he hit me.
Okay. So when you use the word domestic violence, you didn't think somebody was going to take that to mean he struck you?
It was other forms of abuse.
My point is, if you were use the word domestic violence,
Would sexual abuse be considered domestic violence?
well, I ask the questions, but you use the words domestic violence when you described why you had to flee from Matt, right?
Yes.
And you don't know what someone would take that to mean. If you didn't mean hitting, certainly the rest of your family, when you called it domestic violence, might think you were being hit, right?
Possibly.
And you described the abuse as something that was such that when you ran away from California, you were afraid that Matt might chase you down.
Yes, I was.
So I think you have called it scared shitless he was going to come out and hurt you.
Absolutely.
And those are things, again, that you shared with the family, and the family knew your situation when you fled here, right?
Correct.
Now, that doesn't mean it's true, but that's what you said to the people in your family when you fled from California, and then you arrived in Utah, right?
Yes.
Then overall, again, from a higher view here, is you've run away from an abusive husband. And in fact, it happens to be that when you did that, it was actually Tara Lynn's idea to put a tracker in, right?
Yes.
To put this thing that they had gotten at Disney to track kids. She still had this air tag. I don't call it a tracker. It's an air tag. But that was to know where Matt would be, assuming that he was in the truck, right?
Yes.
So Tara Lynn is saying we better track where Matt is in case he chases us, right? That's one thought you guys had. What if he gets the and chases after us? One is to know if he otherwise later comes. This is what was what you and Tara Lynn talked about, is the need for knowing where Matt was, right?
Correct.
One was if he would falsely say the truck was stolen or towed, which he actually did, which turned out not to be true, right? Because you could tell from the tracker if he was being a potential threat or saying something was false. Fair to say?
Yes.
Now, Tara Lynn, okay, strike that, sorry. So this is the aura and the circumstance and what the family knows as you come fleeing to Utah. You didn't talk to the family, however, about everything you talked with your mom about, right?
Correct.
A lot of this, if the family knows it, is being filtered through Tracy, if she's saying it, right?
Correct.
Now, you get there and we've heard about the lead up. Matt was expressed being very angry at this circumstance where you took off without telling him, right?
Yes.
And do you agree that that's understandable on Matt's part?
Yes.
But he did express a great amount of anger to you and your mother and wanted things like addresses and said you crossed the final line, right?
Yes.
So now we're in a situation where, true or not, this family circumstance in the milieu is wondering what's going to happen and how Matt might react. Is that
Yes.
couple weeks go by, you're engaged in discussions and plans and stuff about how you could actually make it final. You could stay here, keep the kids, and not have to return to the marriage, right?
Correct.
Now, there's a variety of ideas are bantered about. Agreed?
Yes.
Now, look, those were all thoughts and plans and ideas that you and your mom were working together on, right?
Yes.
There's certainly, you're not involving in that regard your whole family. You're not talking to your sisters about these various plans to try to make this permanent.
I was talking to Carolyn and Rachel. Yes.
Carolyn or Rachel, that you didn't want to go back?
Correct.
That, again, these are people that are, at least at this point, have heard that among the reasons are you're suffering domestic abuse, right?
Yes.
Let's get to that. You brought up sexual. I mean, you described to all these people that you're being sexually abused by Matt.
Yes.
Now, said, what do you mean by sexual abuse? You would tell Tara Lynn that you were being raped, right?
You would force me to have sex with them. Yes.
But usually it's the word rape.
Isn't that what rape is? Forcing somebody to have sex with them?
Once again, I asked the questions, but you used the word rape in connection with what you were suffering at the hands of Matt.
Yes.
But Matt, in reality, Matt didn't rape you.
I disagree.
Okay, so these are the discussions you're having with the family about the severity of your need to remain in Utah and to not have Matt in your life, right?
Correct.
Sorry. So, your plans with your mother, and we've heard your mother is quite excitable, right? I mean, she talks tough, fair to say?
I'm sorry, say that again.
She talks tough.
Yes.
I'll go on. I'll just drive out there and strangle him myself, she would say, right?
Yes.
And sometimes discussions were had with all of you in person or different family members in person, correct?
Yes.
Sometimes I would be over at the house, in your mother's house, right?
Yes.
Where Kevin.
Yes.
Now, Kevin mostly was hanging out. Kevin really didn't have a job, right?
Correct.
And was kind of beholden to Tracy, your mother, right?
I'm sorry?
He didn't have money. He kind of was beholden to asking her for money, having her buy food and things like that, right?
Correct.
As a matter of fact, what Kevin was is a really, really good pool player.
Yes, he was.
And that was his passion, and he would borrow dues for the pool, and pool meaning billiards, pool, and things like that from his mother so he could do it.
Yes, as far as I knew.
We might unpack this again a little later, but I mean, Kevin would express shame about that role, wouldn't he?
He never expressed it to me.
Well, you knew that he, as a matter of fact, and we'll get to it, and I think maybe addressed it a little bit on direct. And I'm sorry if I forget whether things were on direct to that age, but this notion that he would tell his mom he felt worthless.
Yes, she shared that with me.
that so much so that he felt he really didn't have a place on this earth. And suicide.
Correct.
That was related to, in part, because he was pretty despondent about a breakup with the girlfriend he had in Illinois. Right?
I don't know the reason why he felt suicidal.
You just knew that he expressed feelings of worthlessness and suicide, right?
Correct.
And again, when we unpack in more detail these events of the night in question when Matt was murdered, as you say, by you. You would actually even talk to your mother about her belief that she could use that to manipulate Kevin. Right?
I don't believe so. I'm sorry. State that again.
Well, for instance, she would say, Kevin's suicidal. We could just have Kevin go out there and kill Matt and kill himself.
She had said that out loud, yes.
So, clearly.
That's me muting. Oh my gosh, her testimony. Did y'all just hear that? She just testified that her mama said that Kevin could do this redrumming of Matthew because he was already suicidal. So he was already thinking about committing suicide. So let's just sign him up to do this so he can unalive Matthew and then unalive himself. Like, she said this about her own kid. Like, she was setting him up for that. Oh my goodness.